Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bayt.com's Career Talk. I'm Hatem. On this week's episode, I want to address a very specific point, a very specific question, something we've addressed in a previous episode about how to ace your interviews. And if you missed that episode, you can find it right here. Now, in that episode, we brushed upon different things that you need to take into consideration when preparing for your interview, amongst which is the age-old question of what are your weaknesses? Now, a lot of recruiters ask this question, and a lot of candidates struggle in answering this question. Is the recruiter actually looking for you to give them a weakness that will get in the way of you doing the job that they're looking to hire for? Of course not. They're not expecting you to sabotage yourself. But at the same time, the candidate isn't sure how to answer the question. You don't know what to say back to the recruiter, so you end up giving the same questions, the same answers that a ton of other candidates give, and the same answers that recruiters are used to hearing. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I spend too much time on my work trying to perfect it before delivering it. I'm a workaholic. I spend too much time in the office. All these questions, all these answers have been heard by the recruiter before. They know that most candidates will give these kind of answers to their question. They're looking for something different. Now, what are they looking for? For us to be able to answer this question effectively, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the recruiter. Why are they asking this question? What are they looking for? And that's what I want to break down in this episode. 3 main qualities that the recruiter is looking for when they ask you what your weaknesses are. It's not about what you answer, it's about how you answer it. One of the qualities the recruiter is looking for from you in your answer is self-awareness. They know everyone has a weakness. They want to understand that you know what your weaknesses are and where your shortcomings are. But from your side, you need to make sure you position your answer in a way that doesn't interfere with your job. For example, a good answer would be along the lines of, one of my weaknesses is presenting confidently to the public or client-facing roles. And that's why I've chosen to become an IT developer or a web developer. Now, on the other hand, the wrong answer would be, weaknesses? What weaknesses? I don't have any weaknesses. Denial is one of the worst mistakes you can make. And if you're not aware of your weaknesses, spend some time self-reflecting, understand where your shortcomings are, and make sure you position them in a way that doesn't interfere with the job that you're applying for. The second quality a recruiter is looking for in your answer is honesty. One of the worst things you can do is lie in your answer, and a recruiter is trained to pick that up. So a great answer that you could give to such a question would be, I often underestimate how much time it takes me to complete a job. I overlook how much time I need to invest in such tasks. In smaller tasks, I spend too much time. In larger tasks, I deprioritize them. And as a result, I end up taking too much time and rushing to get things done on time. And therefore, I've taken it upon myself to take online courses in time management to address this issue. Now, the recruiter knows that you've identified the shortcoming and the challenge that you have, the weakness that you have, as well as the steps you've taken to address it. Now, what's a wrong answer? What's a bad answer? Trying to disguise a strength as a weakness. And this is what we mentioned in the intro. The answers that all recruiters are used to hearing, and honestly, it's the answers that we've been trained on giving in these circumstances, such as, I'm a perfectionist, I'm a workaholic, I get too obsessive about the small details. Now, recruiters are used to hearing these answers. They know that all you're trying to do is avoid answering the real question, and it just leads them to question what you're really hiding. The third quality they're looking for is self-improvement. Just as you've been honest about the weaknesses you have, they want to know what steps you've taken to address these problems. For example, in my previous job, I was responsible for a lot of group work and responsible for managing a team. And I had problems delegating certain tasks to my team members and trusting that they'd do the job as well as I would. And as a result, I took on more tasks than I should, and it caused frustration for myself and my team. Now, what I did to address this is speak to my manager about it, who helped me put a timeline, goals, KPIs for my team, and ensuring I've built trust within my team. Now, this is what a recruiter wants to hear. What steps you've taken, what measures you've taken to address your shortcomings, your weaknesses. On the other hand, make sure that your weakness or whatever you pose that you're working on is relevant to the workplace. Don't go speaking about your personal weaknesses that you've had all life long. For example, I'm not going to speak to the recruiter about, I have a weakness as a spider, I'm afraid of spiders because as a child, a spider fell on me while I was sleeping, and as a result, I haven't been able to face a spider since. A recruiter isn't interested in any of that stuff. You're not speaking to your therapist, you're speaking to the recruiter. Keep it relevant within the context of a workplace. Mention your weakness, the shortcomings you have, show that self-awareness, be honest about it, and show self-improvement, the steps you've taken to improve and address that challenge. And that's all I have for you on this week's episode of Bayt.com's Career Talk. I hope this episode was useful for you, provides some clarity how you should answer this question that everyone undoubtedly faces at some point in their time. So it's time for you to sit down, self-reflect, understand where your weaknesses are. It will help you not only in the interview, but will help you in your own career progression. As always, make sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube, weekly episodes. I know we missed an episode last week. I was a little under the weather, but weekly episodes moving forward here on YouTube. Subscribe to us also on Facebook and on Instagram for the latest updates, and I'll see you all next week.